So you own a STIHL KM 56 Kombi powerhead. Congratulations, welcome to the Kombi family. This cool machine that can do all kinds of things like a brush cutter, a string trimmer, a hedge trimmer, an edger, a pole saw, a sweeper, the list goes on and on. But before we dive into this, as far as using it in our yard, we need to know some basic things. We need to know how to maintain it so that we can get the maximum life out of it. So we're gonna start today by looking at the basics. And before we even dig into that, let's talk about some safety, all right? It's always important to cover your ears, cover your eyes, cover your face when you're out using power equipment, whether it be a STIHL Kombi or a hedge trimmer or a lawnmower. Safety is important. We got a couple choices. We could go with just some safety glasses. And this machine came with some sweet ones, by the way. Check these babies out. And safety glasses and earplugs, or we can get a little fancier. So here's some good safety glasses. This will protect half my face. That's kind of nice. And I could get just some standard earmuffs or wear some earplugs. I like this brush defender thing where I've got my earmuffs and my whole face is covered. This is probably how you want to watch me on video. I look a lot better this way, don't I? But it is nice when things are flying at you, whether it be your neighbor's dog poop that you hit with your trimmer or a slug. It is nice to have that. Or if you're getting a little bit more extreme, we have this helmet setup. So always think safety, whether it be your eyes, your ears, and then your legs. We should be wearing pants and good shoes, not flip-flops and short shorts. Because that does not feel good getting hit with rocks as they fly at you. All right, next, let's talk a little bit about fuel. We're gonna need to be running fuel through this thing, and more than likely when you picked it up, it came with a tank of gas, which is gonna get you about 40 minutes of work. But what is next? We have a couple options. We can mix our fuel, so we can take one of these little bottles, if I can get this open here. Take one of these little bottles, and they make them in different sizes, 1 gallon, 2 gallon, 2.5 gallon, and 5 gallon. And mix it with the appropriate amount of gas. So I've got a 1 gallon and I'm gonna mix it in a 1 gallon gas can. Am I just gonna run down, cruise down to the gas station and pick up some standard 87 octane normal everyday gas? No. We're going to be looking specifically for an ethanol-free fuel. That can be a little bit hard to find. They will advertise it at the station. It'll be on the pump. This is ethanol-free. And I can give you story after story after story of why you want to use an ethanol-free fuel. So the biggest reason is what will happen inside of the little bitty carburetor of this machine and cause fuel problems, whether it be hard starting, lacking power, running like crap. If you do not have ethanol-free fuel readily available, if you don't plan on running this thing a lot, or when you're storing this for an extended period of time, the answer is the STIHL Moto Mix. You can buy this in quarts and gallons. And this is a 93 octane fuel, pre-mixed, ready to go with a massive shelf life compared to regular gasoline. This is what I hibernate all of my power equipment with for the winter, and something I recommend over and over again to people that are not using their machines a lot. A quart of this is gonna run you 2.5 to 3 hours. So if you're a low use user, Moto Mix might be the answer for you. All right, let's go. Let's move on. Let's get into the machine. Got all that stuff out of the way. And if I missed anything, it is always a good idea to look back to your owner's manual. It will have come with this. Or stop by Carl's and we'll go over it again with you. So first thing is we're gonna put some fuel in the machine. Here's my fuel tank. Boom. And fill that baby up. Make sure the cap is secured on tightly. The next step is priming it. My primer is right here. See that right on the back? Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can give it 10. I can give it 20. But 5 seems to be kind of the minimum to get that fuel from tank to carburetor. Really, if you feel pressure after 2 pumps, stick with that. But I always go 5. And then I'm going to put on the choke. That's this lever right here. Push in and twist upward. Now the choke is on. Now look at this. This choke is attached to the throttle trigger. As soon as I hit the trigger, the choke came off. So you got to be very careful on that next step. So I'm going to prime it. I'm going to choke it. I'm going to hold the handle like this. I'm going to go down on the ground and I'm going to pull. And it's going to start on the second or third pull. As soon as it starts, I'm now going to take my pinky finger bang, click the throttle, and the choke is shut off. On the starter, the KM56, which is maybe one of the reasons you bought it, comes with the easy start mechanism. So I don't have to rip it, I simply pull it. So bang. Now if you're a guy or a girl that has a strong pull or long arms, you may want to consider two things. One is doing a curl so you don't hit the end of the rope. Let me show you here. Because this pulls so easy, I just hit the rope, the end of the rope, very hard. And if you continue to do that over and over and over again, eventually you could lead to a starter problem. So one is curls. So when I give it a curl, I'm limiting my pull. The other is kind of weird, but if I hold it up like this and push away, really doesn't work well without an attachment on it, but push away, again, I'm limiting my pull so I'm not hitting the end of the rope. So just a quick little tip on that. Maintenance wise, okay, we talked about fuel. That is your most important maintenance thing, is running good fuel. Next is going to be keeping an eye on the air filter, and that air filter is right under here. Boom, one screw is going to take off this black cover. A few twists on that. Now, how dirty, how often, when do I need to change this air filter? This air filter should probably, in a homeowner application, it's probably once a year. But when I'm out using it, am I in high dust, high dirt applications? Am I cutting tall, dry grass, which creates these fines that are floating through the air that are getting sucked into the air filter? So here's my air filter. It is a heavy felt material. It is washable, but it takes a long time to dry. I would say brush it off. How's it look? Throw it out, get a new one. That's probably your best approach to this. So get this cover back on. The next thing is, well, what about a spark plug? Do I need to do anything with the spark plug? Probably not a bad idea to do that. Guess what happened just the other day? Guy came in with it was actually a blower, and he was going to change the spark plug because, you know, it was a good thing to do. And he ripped the spark plug boot off. So the spark plug boot, get this final tightened here, is right here. Here's my spark plug boot. And what he did is he just grabbed a hold of it and went, and off came the spark plug boot. You always want to twist this rubber boot up and off, and we're good to go. Now, had I just grabbed that and pulled up, more than likely I would have ripped off this rubber piece, and then, it's a pain in the butt. So pull that spark plug boot off. The tool that you came with, this little Kombi wrench, torque setup, boom, this will remove my spark plug. How's it look? Should I throw a new one in? They're cheap, $5, $6, $7 for a spark plug. Maybe throw one in once every year, every couple of years. If you're a homeowner who doesn't put a ton of hours on, you could probably go longer. In fact, I see people go 10 years. The last thing I want to see though is going out in May to use my machine and it won't start because the spark plug's fouled, and that's a pain. The next thing that I want you to pay attention to, and probably aside from fuel, the biggest challenge that people have with this model is not running it hard enough. A lot of times when we step up to a steel trimmer, we're used to something with less power, less performance, and so when we get behind a steel, it's like we're almost driving a race car a little bit, like vroom vroom, power, and so we run a lot of half throttle just because we don't feel we need the full throttle. So we're working around some light stuff and we're not hitting that trigger hard, and what will happen is the spark arrestor will plug up. So this thing, all of a sudden, it can't get rid of the exhaust. It's plugged up, it can't breathe out, right? All the air coming in and getting combusted and burned needs to get out. And there's a little screen right there. Boom. And I can get to that with a flathead screwdriver and slide that screen out. And you're gonna pull that screen out, instead of being something that you can see through, it is going to be sooted up, carboned up, nasty, and you're gonna go, wow, that's ugly. Clean it off, burn it off, grab a new one, throw it in, and all of a sudden, whew, new life. So you will know if this is happening when you fire this thing up and it's like, and it just doesn't want to rev up. It's like, this thing's just a dog. What's going on? Check your spark arrestor, right? There's your tip. We fix that all the time. We usually go a little deeper than just that. We're gonna pull the muffler off, check the exhaust port, make sure everything else is adjusted right. The causes of that spark arrestor. One is just not simply running it hard enough. Two is poor fuel, whether that's old fuel that's not combusting well or heavily richly mixed fuel. So if I took this bottle and put it to a half a gallon, I'm gonna have a lot more oil and it's gonna not burn off as good. And then the other thing that's the most common is a very dirty air filter. There's some things beyond that, but that's what causes a plug spark arrestor. So you take these steps to avoid it, running it hard, running good fuel, and keeping your air filter clean, you probably won't deal with it. But when it comes, it is a simple fix. All right, there we go. The STIHL KM56, what you need to know in a nutshell. Check back, see down below these other videos we're gonna pop for you on how to take care of your line head or your edger or all the different attachments that you can start running on this. We will see you soon at Carl's Mower and Saw.